What is up, everybody? I am Get Flanked, and today we're going to be going over what I consider to be the easiest way that you can improve at Rainbow Six Siege today. Now, what we're going to be going over in this video is what I call the information economy, and the reason that I say that it's the easiest way to get better right now is because whenever I look at improving at Rainbow Six Siege, there's really three areas that you can improve in my opinion. The first of which is your mechanical skill. That's your ability to aim, your ability to flick, your ability to quick peek, and stuff like that. And it's an extremely important skill, and one that takes a long time to improve at. It takes a lot of practice to improve at. And it also has some intangibles there as far as reaction time, hand-eye coordination, stuff in there that you can improve at, but that requires a lot of time. There's also your game sense. You know, this is your ability to kind of read opponents. And again, this is something that takes time, learning the patterns of your enemies. And also, again, it has some intangibles. Just some people are able to, kind of tell what opponents are going to do better than others. But whenever I look at this pillar, which is the information pillar, the ability to gather and use information, this is something that you can do today and keep improving at as you go along, but certainly can make a difference in your game immediately. It doesn't require you to have godlike aim. It doesn't require you to be able to tell the future. It just requires you to have a mindset and constantly be asking yourself a simple question as you're playing this game. That simple question is this: am I currently acting on information? And if I'm not, how can I change that? Now, really, the inspiration for this concept and video comes from playing with a professional Rainbow Six Siege player a couple months ago in ranked, hot and cold. He's a pro for Dark Zero. And when playing with him, the thing that really jumped out to me is he was constantly seeking out information. And it wasn't like, hey, somebody drone me in and I'll go kill everybody. It was just throughout the course of a round, he's constantly asking questions, constantly asking for information from the teammates. When we were in, say, a 3v1, there's three of us versus one defender. It wasn't like, hey, we're in a 3v1, let's all just rush them and get the kill. It was, hey, we're in a 3v1, somebody drone out the last person alive, let's get this information and let's act upon that. Let's not all just rush in and die to them 1v1. And that really jumped out to me and stuck with me and really started my mind moving in this direction towards making this video. Now, the reason that I call it the information economy is because in Rainbow Six Siege, you're constantly putting out information, meaning you and what you're doing is putting out information that your enemies can pick up on, and you're also constantly receiving information, or at least you always have the opportunity to receive information. If you find yourself putting out a lot more information than what you're receiving, you're very likely to die really soon. However, if you're in situations where you're gathering a lot of information and you're able to act upon that information effectively, then that is a good sign for you winning a gunfight or a round or a match in general. To demonstrate this information economy concept, let me show a real simple game clip now. This is something that you've all encountered. I'll shut up, I'll let it play, and then we'll come back in and talk about how this concept applies to this situation.
Window again.
What mirror are you playing? I'll play the other one.
What was that? No idea.
They were just nading out behind
They're on 90 window.
Yep. It's main door.
Nading out behind 90.
Study window.
Yeah, I couldn't hold them off.
Is anyone playing red stairs? Because I could just walk up.
Flank's kind of open.
That was IQ. Okay, so that's a perfect example of the information economy right there. That IQ entered this window I'm looking at on the screen right now and came in, and I got an easy kill because if you think about the information that I had versus what she had, it wasn't even close. I heard her open that window. I knew exactly where she was coming from, and she had no idea where I was. So go back to what I said to make sure you're asking yourself throughout the game to help improve right now. What information did IQ have? We don't know for sure, but we know that she didn't have information on where she was getting ready to enter. And how could she have changed that? Well, she could have droned that area out. Now, we're going to get to a little bit more complex situations of using information in just a second, but I think this example will perfectly demonstrate a very key concept, especially for the beginners out there. And it has to do with, as an attacker, you are inherently at a disadvantage when it comes to information, because at the beginning of a round, usually you're going to have to enter the map. And when you're doing that, you are going to be putting out a lot of information for the defenders to gather. You're going to have to open a barricade. You're going to have to shoot a static cam. You're going to have to make noise of some sort entering the map. And in doing so, you are putting out a lot of information. So if you're not doing an effective job of droning, you're going to find yourself at a huge information deficit like that IQ just did. So make sure that in the beginning part of the round, you're doing an effective job of droning to try to bring that information economy at least close to 50-50 so that you can enter the map. And yes, you're going to be putting out information, you're going to be making noise, but hopefully you're doing so in an area you've already droned out and have good information on yourself. To a different example now. This time you're going to see me on attack, and you're going to find me in a situation where I am at a huge information deficit, and actually a very tough situation in the game. And you can see how I manipulate the information in order to put myself at an advantage.
Behind the bomb.
With the bait.
Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that doc played that well, because he didn't. He made some mistakes there. But I think that's a great example of how you can manipulate information and how you can use information in a lot of different ways. It doesn't have to be information from a drone or a camera. There's a lot of different other ways to get information. So in that situation, I was at a severe information deficit. There was some type of camera in there that was spotting me, and the doc knew pretty much exactly where I was. I had a good idea where he was, but because of that camera, he was able to know exactly where I was and what I was doing, and that put me at a severe disadvantage. So if I'm asking myself the question I talked about in the beginning, am I currently acting on information? And if not, what can I do to get more information? The only opportunity I really had to gather information was sound, information based upon sound. And the way I was able to gather that information was to go for the revive. While going for the revive, it put the doc in a situation where he either had to push me and try to kill me while I'm reviving, or he was going to end up in a 2v1. And the information that he was getting from that camera let him know that I was reviving. He started to push me. I heard the sound from him moving, got off the revive, and got the kill. Now, again, Doc could have done a lot of different things there to play that better, but I think that's a great example of manipulating and using information in the game to try to turn the tides in your favor. Okay, moving on to another example. We're going to go over an entire round here, and I think I used this clip in a previous video, so forgive me for that, but I think it's a perfect example of what we're talking about here. And what we'll do in this clip is we'll actually stop after each kind of important part and talk about how the information economy is working, and break it down and then move on.
They have a pulse downstairs in Sunrise.
Okay. I might push that off the rip. Do you still have the drone down there?
Yeah, I have it underneath the
I'm gonna push it
default
from
cam
service
inside kitchen.
kitchen.
He's still inside. He's still inside Sunrise. Are you just gonna go straight service?
I'm gonna
You
go
should be
straight
clear
service.
to just push it. I'll tell you if he leaves. Pulse is inside Sunrise.
I'm gonna get on the roof, guys.
Yep.
Still good?
You're still.
Good?
He's still. Yeah, he's still inside Sunrise. Running out now. He's going into kitchen. Inside kitchen. Nice.
Okay, pausing it right there a second, that's an easy kill on pulse. He didn't even get a shot off at me, and that's all based upon information. My teammates making callouts off of a drone, and I knew exactly where the pulse was. He had no idea where I was. Easy kill. That's a great example right there. Moving on.
Good communication.
One just dropped. Main stairs.
I think one's on blue.
Yeah.
Halfway stairs by the window.
Yeah, default cams.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and try and open up VIP. Okay, we're gonna pause it again and talk about why am I making the decision to rotate away and instead of continuing to push towards sight up the blue stairs. Whenever I got that kill on pulse, I was acting on information, but now I'm starting to enter an information deficit. I don't know if anybody's in the blue bar. I don't know if anybody's in courtyard or that hallway that goes parallel to courtyard. I got a call that there might be somebody on blue stairs, but I don't really have any information on that. And I didn't feel comfortable sitting and droning because you always have to be thinking about the information you're putting out. I killed that pulse. You have to assume that that pulse made the call out on where I was. There could be somebody who's trying to act on that information now by trying to flank through main lobby and come through kitchen to kill me. So I didn't feel comfortable just getting on drone and droning all that out. I decided to make the decision to fall back, rotate away to try to put myself in a position where I can safely gather more information and then act upon that information. And again, it comes back to that simple question. If I continued to push towards sight and up the blue stairs, would I have been acting on information or would I have just been kind of going blind? And I think that the answer to that is I would be going, for the most part, blind. Now, if there's only 10 seconds left in the round, you've got no choice. You got to do that. But at this point, there's over 2 minutes left in the round. I have the opportunity to go and safely gather more information, and I'm going to do that.
There was one up roaming over there, so be careful. First floor should be pretty much clear. I have a flank drone on white stairs. Actually, I'm gonna stop white.
Okay.
I have the diffuser down here. So.
Maybe.
He might be where?
Like 90? I don't know. I can't tell.
Yeah, it sounds like over by VIP somewhere.
And theater, 100%.
Dead?
Okay, so at this point, I think I'm back in the information positive area. Not only did I drone out an enemy and help my teammate get a kill on that enemy, but I've also droned out this area VIP, and I know pretty well that this area is all clear. Based upon where my teammate's at over there, it looks like white stairs would be clear right now, as well as maybe 90, at least that side of 90. And I also just droned out VIP, so again, it's possible that somebody could have rotated in there. But for the most part, I have information on where I'm getting ready to enter, and I'm not having to make a lot of noise. That hatch was already open. The only noise I'm really making is dropping down in. So I think the lesson there is that what I'm doing right now is much safer because it's based on information than it would have been for me just to continue pushing up the blue stairs. I think I'm in a better situation.
Oh, good shot from luggage.
There's a fat kid in our window. He's close to the window.
Yeah, keep swinging luggage. I'm gonna name this spot back the bar.
Okay, so right there, I had a huge information advantage on that rook. I had a line of sight looking exactly where he was, and I just missed my shots. Now, he may have heard the Maverick torch, but even so, he wouldn't know exactly where the Maverick hole was, which puts me at an advantage in that situation. Again, I just missed my shots. But I want you to pay attention now, because look at me and Rook. In this situation, we're probably neutral when it comes to information now. He knows where I'm at. I know where he's at. So I'm going to try to use that information to my advantage, and I'm going to change positions based upon the information that he has to try to give myself an easier kill and an advantage.
Let's find the bar now. Wow.
One's still behind bar. He's on the rotate for movement.
Drop the diffuser.
Fucking god, that.
Last is where? Oh, he's luggage.
Luggage. He's luggage right now. Peeking you, peeking you.
Behind you.
Bases apparently. Our teammates calling us now.
The diffuser has been recovered.
He's hookah. Hookah rotate area. I can't. Now we have a drone for this. Is there a rotate or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear him by that rotate heavy. Going door.
Way.
Hallway, pushing hallway.
Nope, not yet.
He's not out yet. Just plant it. Just plant it.
Nice. Great job, flanked.
Okay, once again, I'm not going to claim that I played that round perfectly. Definitely some mistakes were made on the defending side there. But if you notice there, every single one of my kills was based off of information. The kill on the Rook there, I was getting a perfect call out from my teammate, knew exactly where he was. That Jaeger at the end there, my teammates had a drone, was calling him out. And the reason I went for the kill there and started the plant is because I had a pretty exact call on where he was. I knew he was in that doorway. And I just felt like that was going to be the best information situation for me. If I would have started planning, I would have gotten information based upon the sound, but I just felt like that was the best situation I was going to be in right there. I was struggling to get rid of those cams, but once I did, he didn't have as much information on me as what I had on him. So that's why I went for the kill there instead of the plant. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense to you. Hopefully, you're understanding what the information economy is. And I think if you only take one thing from this video, the thing that I would ask you to do is just to constantly be monitoring the information that you're putting out, the information you're receiving, and asking yourself, what can you do to try to get more information than what you're putting out? That's really what it comes down to. And I think if you do that, you're going to see instant results. And hopefully I've shown enough examples from this video to where you understand that it's not always information based upon sound. It's not always information based upon drones. And you don't have to be playing with a full stack in order to get information. Yes, it's easier. That last clip was a perfect example of great team communication and how it makes it easier. But the other clips were based upon information I was gathering as an individual, okay? And I think that's important to note here, that you can use this concept whether you're solo queuing or with a 5-stack. Now it's time for a disclaimer, okay? Because here's the real trick with this. The trick is finding the balance between information gathering and not sitting on a roof for the entire round, not having an impact, okay? If you, on Coastline, for example, go up to the roof, you can drone all around. And yes, you can be gathering a ton of information while you're not putting very much out. But it's not going to do you any good if none of your teammates can act on that information, or you. So I don't want you to think that you should just sit and hold angles for an entire round. I don't want you to think that you should just drone for an entire round. I'm just saying that you need to be asking yourself, do you have information? Are you just walking around aimlessly right now, or are you acting on good information? And if you're not, how can you gather information? And there's going to be times where it's not practical for you to gather that information. But if there is time for you to do that, you should. And if you do that, you're going to see instant results in your gameplay. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully this helps. I think this is a huge concept for a lot of players out there. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll have more coming your way here soon.